Okay, sit yourself onto your left, come into a good cross-legged position and just feel that you are sitting evenly. So just have a little wriggle about, just make sure that you're feeling like there's levelness at the hips, levelness at the seat bones. Hold onto your knees and then elevate the heart area upwards, drawing your shoulders down. Soften your jaw and your tongue and your throat. Soften your gums. Relax the teeth. Keep your eyes focused on something on the floor that doesn't move. Release your knees, bring your hands into Namaste. Lengthen from the armpits into the elbows to make space in the chest. And with an exhalation, allow your eyes to gently close. Just focus on the filling of the lungs and the emptying of the lungs. Observe that as you inhale, your chest expands upwards and outwards to accommodate the breath, and as you exhale, the chest relaxes to accommodate the exhalation. So the in-breath opens up the chest so that the body can accommodate the maximum inhalation, and the chest lowers and relaxes, facilitating and accommodating the exhalation. With an exhalation, draw your chin down to meet your chest. Lift the chest up to meet your chin. Maintain the breath. Maintain the resistance-free inhalations and exhalations. Just spend a moment to seek to generate a genuine, heartfelt sense of gratitude for something or someone or somewhere. Hold on to that feeling of abundance in the heart area. Release the backs of your hands down towards your knees, palms facing upwards. Just connect the tip of the index finger with the tip of the thumb. And then when you're ready, raise your head. Allow your eyes to softly open and the focus to softly come back. Hold onto your knees. Hold onto your knees so that you can really elevate the heart area upwards, drawing your shoulders down. Take a deep inhalation, and then with the following exhalation, turn to the right side, drawing your abdomen across, and your ribs and your shoulders, just feeling how your body responds to the turn, acknowledging the body's resistance, acknowledging where there's no resistance, acknowledging where there's activity, and also acknowledging where there's no activity. So try to draw your attention into every cell of the body, where every pore becomes an eye, looking inwards, looking outwards, bringing sensitivity to the skin from the face to the feet. Come back to the center, hold onto your knees, lift up into the chest, elevating the heart area. Take a deep inhalation and then turn to the left. Just drawing the abdomen across the ribs and the shoulders. Observing resistance, non-resistance, activity, dullness, drawing your attention into every cell of the body. So even though the eyes can't necessarily see the body, can you feel it from the back of the brain to the skin of the back of the chest and the lumbar and the hips and the legs. Feel the body that the eyes can't see. And then come back to the center. Just come down onto your seat bones. Just sit back onto your heels, have the big toes together and the knees apart. Lift up into the chest, elevating the heart area upwards, drawing your shoulders down. And then come forwards, hinging at the hips. And then stretch the body forward, keep the head lifted as you come down. And then bring the forehead down. Press the hands really deeply into the floor. Draw the tailbone down to the heels. Again, accommodate the breath. Feel that the chest can still rise upwards and outwards. But when you're in Adho Mukha Virasana, maybe it's easier to breathe more willingly into the armpit chest. Maybe that is somewhere that you don't typically observe. Feel the physical body in 3 dimensions. See the body that the eyes can't see through the feeling of the pose. Not just focusing on where there is resistance, but trying to draw your attention wholly into the physical body. Come up onto your knees, turn your toes under, and then come up into dog down. Observe how in each pose the breath feels different. Are you breathing evenly into both lungs? Evenly out of both lungs? Can you feel the body that the eyes can't see? Can you feel the body that the eyes can see? So focus on the fronts of the legs, but what about the backs of the legs? Can you feel your attention in the backs of the legs? In the spine and in the back and in the arms, none of which you can probably see. Can you feel the level of activity, and is the action as vital in areas that the eyes can't see than where they are? Is there evenness of action? Step your feet forwards, come up into standing position. Bring your feet as wide apart as your mat. Lift up into the chest. Wing the elbows towards each other. Try and get the thumbs to touch behind the back. Press the thumbs into the lumbar. Encourage the thumbs to draw down towards the buttock flesh so that you turn the tailbone in. Lift from the bladder region to the abdomen, to the diaphragm, to the collarbone. And keep that lift as you hinge at the hips, keeping the head lifted, driving forwards with the heart area. Feeling the backs of the thighs lengthen out as you come down into the halfway point, winging your elbows back. And then reach down and find the blocks. Have the blocks underneath your shoulders. Be on fingertips. Turn the fronts of the thighs, project the chin and the chest forwards. Just feel the body in 3 dimensions. Look away from the body, look forwards. So chances are you can't even see your hands or your arms. And then hit the legs back away from the head. Lengthen from the hips into the armpits, lengthening the front chest forwards, drawing the shoulder blades in towards the spine. Drawing the belly button towards the spine, just to protect the lumbar. If you can go down lower, then do. But if you've got a bad back and it doesn't feel good to come down lower, then stay at the higher lift, just working to populate the physical body with your attention. you can go down to the floor and do without losing that extension of the chest, extension of the spine. Maybe if you come down lower, if you can see your hands more willingly within your field of vision, then you have to go back to the simple part of the pose, well, not simple, but the basic part of the pose of lifting the legs, projecting the chin and the chest forwards, driving the shoulder blades in towards the chest. And then maybe you can even go reach around the backs of the heels, drawing the body through the gap between the legs, but that may well be too strong. And if that's the case, then come back to a stage of the pose that feels less risky for your back. No risk for your back. Okay, bring your hands into your hips. Bend your knees on the way up if you need to, and then come up into standing position. Just be in Tadasana with the feet. Lift up into the chest. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. Just allow the body to accommodate the breath. Turn the palms all the way out and lift the chest up to the ceiling. Again, the eyes probably can't see the body. So feel the body in 3 dimensions. Activate your legs in Tadasana. Turn the tailbone in, draw the abdomen to the spine, lift up into the chest, turning the palms outwards, rotating the upper arms in the sockets. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. And stretch your arms out in front, interlock the fingers, turn the palms all the way out. And then raise your arms over your head. Squeezing the outer elbows in, maintaining your Tadasana. So I'm not giving you a great deal of detail about your Tadasana, just feel where it is. Make corrections from things that you have learned in the past. Allow your back brain to guide your attention. The back brain is the observer, the learner, the teacher. Arms down, swap the interlock of the fingers, turn the palms all the way out, and then raise your arms over your head. Just look at something that doesn't move and draw your attention inwards into the physical body. See the body in 3 dimensions, from the feeling of the pose. And then release your arms, stretch your arms down to the floor. Just listen to the breath, listen to the physical body, observe how perhaps the shoulders feel warm and energized. Stretch the arms out in front Bring the palms down to face the front, and then cross the arms over so that the right hand is at the bottom of the stack. And then keep going, keep the arms straight, keep going with the arms, and then bend your elbows, and then reach your fingertips towards your shoulder blades, behind your back. So that the elbows effectively overshoot. The one at the bottom, the elbow at the bottom is kind of further to the left than the top one. So the starting point of garudhasana, try and prise the shoulder blades apart. So the bottom elbow, which is the right arm, but don't worry about lefts and rights because it becomes confusing in this pose. The bottom arm, the elbow that's at the bottom, raise that arm up, keeping the other elbow kind of fastened into the gap between the bicep and the forearm. And then straighten that other arm, turn the palm up to face the ceiling, and then try and bring your palms together. So I can't bring the palms together all together, but I can get the hands kind of relatively close. You might have to just hold onto the thumb, or if you can't get the hands anywhere near it, you can throw a belt around the thumb, just hold onto that. Once your arms are in position, then raise your arms up to the ceiling, raise the fingers to the ceiling so that the elbows are lifting away from the chest, and draw the forearms away from the face. So reach up with the fingers, draw the forearms away from the face. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. Opening the shoulders. And then gently release, unhook, and then come back into Tadasana. Just observe the life in the arms, the energy in the arms. Go back to your Tadasana. Maybe you've let your knees go, kneecaps release. Let's come back into Tadasana. And reach the arms forwards. This time bring the left hand and do it the other way. The left hand underneath the right hand. I threw myself then. And then just reach behind you, and then again try and prise apart the shoulder blades. Try and reach behind you. Again, so that the elbows overshoot. Lengthen the neck. Lift up into the chest. And then the bottom elbow. Raise that forearm up to the ceiling. Trap in the other elbow. And then stretch the right hand, turn the palm to face the ceiling, and then bring the palms towards each other. Lengthen the fingers and the arms up to the ceiling. Draw the forearms away from the face. And breathe, lift up into the breath. Tighten the kneecaps, turn the fronts of the thighs. And then release your arms, just release your arms, let them hang down, and then lengthen them down to the floor with a little bit of intention. Feel how the shoulders feel wide and open. Just listen to the breath. So the legs in Garudhasana, this is where the pose becomes a balance, and maybe you need something. You might need something to help you to kind of balance. So you can do this if you imagine that this is a full wall. You can do this by kind of walking your feet away from the wall a little, and then just sliding down so that your back's still against the wall, and then you can slide down so you're just kind of leaning into the wall to do it, or you can do it standing up. But again, you can have somewhere like a chair or something just to give you a little bit of balance. So we're going to do the legs. Bend the knees. Bend the knees and keep the chest lifted. Bend the knees quite deeply. And then lift the right knee up off the floor. Lift the right knee as high as you can. If you can give it a kiss, then it means that you've got your knee quite high. Well, that maybe wobble a little bit. Get hold of that right knee with the left hand and then sweep in across from the crease of your shorts, from the buttock all the way across. Bring that leg around the back, so hook the foot behind the back of the left thigh. So I can't do this particularly brilliantly, but maybe you can get a little further. So then it's the top leg, swing the arms, the top leg becomes the bottom arm, and then reach up. Elevate the heart area upwards, drawing the arms up. Forearms away from the face. Ooh, lost my balance. And then uncoil and come back to Tadasana. So lift up into the chest. Do the other side. Bend your knees. Bend the left knee this time. Lift it as high as you can. Pull that knee across the bent knee, the standing leg, and then try and post those toes behind the back of the knee. Keep that standing leg bent. So then the top leg kind of mirrors the arms. I'm not balancing particularly well here. So once you get the arms, you can push the hands together, and that really helps with the balance. Lengthening the elbows away from the chest, the forearms away from the face. Okay, and then uncoil, and then come into Tadasana. Just breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. And then come down onto your knees. Have your hands shoulder width apart, turn your toes under, and then come up into dog down. So some days we have good balance days, some days we don't. But once you get your hands in position in garudhasana, then your balance tends to come. Anyway, let's leave that pose behind and let's draw our attention into this one. Populate the physical body from the toes to the fingertips to the top of the head with your attention. Come down onto your knees. Just sit back on your heels. Observe your energy. Observe how you have lifted and opened your energy. And then come forward, hinging at the hips. Just feeling the body with your attention. Observing the body that the eyes can't see. Push your hands under your shoulders and then lift up into the chest. Just again, observe your energy. Observe the lightness and clarity of the energy around the head and the forehead and the shoulders and the arms and the chest and the hips and the pelvis and the legs. And then come down onto your back for supta, baddangulyasana. The soles of the feet are together, knees are apart. Just rest your hands initially on your lower ribs. Push the heels consciously together. Draw the tailbone away from the sacrum spine. Draw the abdomen towards the lumbar. Broaden from the abdomen into the abdominal walls. Just sweep the hands from the belly button to the abdominal walls down to the floor, just to get that feeling of broadness of the abdomen. Bring your hands back onto your lower ribs. And just feel the breath from the outside. Observe the rise and the fall of the abdomen as you inhale and exhale. Observe the openness of the lower ribs as you inhale, and the relaxation of the ribs as you exhale. Facilitating and accommodating the breath. Stretch your arms up to the ceiling, interlock fingers right into the webbing of the hands, and then turn the palms up to the ceiling, squeezing the outer elbows in. And then lengthen your arms along the floor. If there's any stiffness in your shoulders, you can put a folded blanket underneath your arms or a block or two. Just give yourself whatever you need. Maintain the consciousness of the breath. Pushing the hands away, squeezing the outer elbows in, broadening the armpits. Breathing into the armpit chest, breathing into the armpits. Just raise your arms up to the ceiling, swap the interlock of your fingers, get the fingers right into the webbing of the hands, turn the palms all the way out, and then lengthen your arms along the floor. And then release your arms. Just release the fingers. Just rest your hands on your lower ribs. Just bring the knees towards each other. Have the knees together and the feet apart. Just rest in your hips. Rest in your back. And then draw your knees in towards your chest. Just have a little rock from side to side, from top to bottom, just a gentle massage on the spine. And then rock yourself up into a seated position. Just come up into cross legs. Just come up into cross legs. Just hold onto your knees, lift up into the heart area. Lift up into the heart area. If you've got a bad back, then you might want to just stay at this first stage, just lifting up into the chest. Otherwise, you might want to keep the heart area lifted, keep the head lifted, come forwards, hinging at the hips, and then reach forward. You might want blocks underneath your hands just to give you some extra height in the chest, or you might just want to go down to the floor. So just coming forwards just a little bit at a time. Keeping the heart area lifted, keeping the head lifted, just stretching forwards. Be on fingertips. You can always come down lower on the blocks. Try and keep the tailbone down. It will want to lift. So draw the tailbone down to the floor. Okay, and then come back to the center. Hold onto your knees. Lift up into the chest, elevating the heart area upwards. Drawing the shoulders down. Take a deep inhalation and then turn to the right side. Digging the back hand firmly into the floor. Drawing the abdomen across and the ribs across and the shoulders across. Maintaining that physical attention. Maintaining your inner focus on the feeling of the pose. Come back to the center. Take a deep inhalation and then turn to the left. And then gently come back to the center. Good. So we're going to finish in a restorative pose. So have a bolster. If you haven't got a bolster, you can use some cushions. If you've got something like a couple of extra cushions to put underneath your shins, then that is useful. Have a block for your head and a folded blanket just resting on top of the block. And then we're just going to do our restorative surfboard pose, which is a really nice way to just open up the back. So you come down onto your knees, and then your bolster, your head needs to be free of the end of the bolster. So that kind of determines, it all kind of determines on the kind of length of your body, really. So you find the right position by having your head free at the back, at the end of the bolster, and then rest your forehead on the block. And then just rest your arms on the floor with your elbows just above your shoulders, a little, palms facing downwards. And then In this pose, we can focus on back breathing. So you breathe into the back chest, into the area between the shoulder blades, and breathe in and all the way out into the armpit chest. That's the first breath, and then a normal exhalation. Second breath is where you breathe into the middle of the back and out into the lower ribs, and then a normal exhalation. And then the third breath is where you breathe into the lower back, into the lumbar and the sacrum, and out into the hips. And then a normal exhalation. So just working around those three areas of the back, periodically breathing into the back. Let the rest of the body just completely relax. Okay, when you're ready, just push your hands underneath your shoulders. Push yourself up into a seated position. Just sit back on your heels for a moment. Just observe your energy. Observe the energy in the head and in the shoulders and in the neck and in the chest and the legs and the arms. And then come into cross legs, just sitting directly on the top of your bolster. Just hold onto your knees, lift up into your chest, drawing your shoulders down away from your ears. Just bring your hands into Namaste and draw your breath in through your nose and down into the abdomen. And then draw your chin down to meet your chest. Spend a moment to seek to acknowledge the positive energy you have created inside. And then just send some of that positive energy out into the world. And then release the backs of your hands down toward your knees, palms facing upwards. Just bring in the tip of the index finger with the tip of the thumb, just a gesture of wisdom, of physical intelligence, and of peacefulness that we can carry into our day. And then raise your head, allow your eyes to softly open and the focus to softly come back. Thank you very much. So hopefully you feel as though you're really lifted your energy and giving yourself good energy to put into your